Welcome to Trailblazers, the show that profiles the lives of women and men who've made significant strides in their respective fields. Trailblazers celebrates the achievements of the visionaries, the dreamers, the strategists, and those that have risen above the odds to achieve their goals. My very first guest on the show is football icon, coach, club owner, and businessman Jomo Sono. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for inviting us into the comfort of your home.
And thank you very much for inviting me as in your show for the first person today. Thank you.
We are absolutely honored, especially because you took the time to see us and invited us into your home. I know that July is a significant month for you. The 17th of July, to be more specific. In 1955, you were born in Soweto. Tell us about your upbringing.
It was not easy, not very, very easy, because my father passed away when I was 8 years old. And my mother and my father parted ways, and my mother went the other direction. And I stayed with my grandparents. They brought me up until the age of 8. And I remember seeing that, and I could say, my blackjacks. Walking into my home at Orlando, knocking at the door. And you know how Klama blackjacks during that time in apartheid, you knew it's trouble. Either you are arrested or somebody has passed away. So I knew immediately the moment I saw my grandparents crying that my father has passed away.
Growing up without your father and your mother also not being present and having to be taken care of by your grandparents, take me back to that point where you were an 8-year-old and you were making sales, and I understand your grandfather also owned a shop, and he was partially sighted, or was he blind?
He was blind completely, but he owned a shop. He was working with his wife at the shop, and he was also a priest for Presbyterian Church.
Where did you get your motivation?
From him. I looked at him and I said to myself, he had about 6 children. If he can bring up 6 children being blind, God has given me everything. He hasn't taken anything from me. Why should I not be like him or be better than him?
And your breakthrough, 1971, I understand. You were 16 years of age and you made your debut. Talk me through that memory.
Yeah, I was very young. I was what we called during those days smokes are. I was selling apples and peanuts, at the station, so that I can be able to pay for my school at the Leresh Primary School. And one day we heard that Orlando Pirates, the senior team, is playing at Orlando East Ground. So obviously when Orlando Pirates come, they usually come December. It's like a festival day. So I decided somebody gave me a tip, so I took my box and my peanuts and my sweets to Orlando at the ground. And I was 14, and I was selling around the pitch. And luckily, because it was a big festival, the Orlando Pirates under 19 were playing against a top team at Orlando called the Orlando Happy Stars. They were big rivals. And Orlando Pirates, one of the players didn't come. And they were short of, even substitutes were not there, And Brarox Mutei, who discovered me, remembered me that you are Skara's son. Skara was my father, was a very big soccer player, my father, for Orlando Pirates. He was a founder member of Pirates. So he said, can you play football? I said, I've never played football. My sport was boxing. I loved boxing. And he said, please come in, because if you're Skara's son, obviously you can play football. I said, but I can't leave my business here. If you buy a tray, it's fine. I will leave, go and play, come back. As long as you promise me you'll buy a tray. Because this 30 minutes, 60 minutes, I'm in the field of play. My business is, will suffer. So he agreed to buy a tray. So I went in, I played for the first time. I played barefoot, you know. All the kids were nicely dressed with bandages, you know. That time we were using bandages. They were using beautiful bandages. I went in barefoot because it was the first time. To my surprise, I scored 4 goals. I've never played, you know, I was just kick about school and in the street. I scored 4 goals, and I remember Brother Rocks buying about 4 trays, because now I made him proud, because the big bosses of Pirates were there, you know. And they started asking about me, who's this boy, and so forth, you know. And I remember one of the guys by the name of Alfred Rashia called me, and he said, he didn't call me by the name because he didn't know me. He knew that I was Kara's son. He said, "Awubize lo mfana lo wekhanda lespear." Ah, khanda lespear. You know, a spear is so sharp. So it's okay. I was skinny, and you know, the head and blah blah. So I went. And Brother Rock said, I spoke to Russia. He asked me how old I was. I said, I was 14. And Russia said, you're a good player. So as I was turning, Brother Rocks said, from now on, I'm going to call you the Burning Spear, meaning Jomo. So that's how I got the name Jomo. It's not my best name. I got it on that day. 2 weeks later, Pirates was playing Morocco Swallows at Orlando Stadium. They came to fetch me at home, but they heard that I was at the station selling. They went to fetch me again.
It seems you weren't 100% convinced that you should be playing soccer.
No.
Was it deliberate? I mean, your father was a legend.
I just love boxing.
So it wasn't anything deliberate on your side?
No. Because 2 weeks later, there was a game at Orlando. It was Pirates Swallows. That time, those two were big teams. And Pirates were playing a main curtain race against another team from Soweto. They fetched me. Must have been about 30,000 people there. And I scored 13 goals.
Wow.
Yeah, barefoot. And I was well known in the township, you know, because there were 30,000 people, you know, and the Pirates supporters bought my business. I made money. Just by scoring. We won 15-1. I scored 13 goals. I was playing as a striker.
And at what point did you now decide that, you know, this is what I'm going to focus on? I'm going to focus on that day.
On that day.
And talk us through your training. I'm sure you must have started preparing now.
No, after that I went home. When I got home, there was a big Cadillac standing at the gate. And guess who it was? It was the late Iwat Nene from Kaizer Chiefs. He had come to, because Iwat knew my father, he had come to speak to my grandparents that he wants me to go to Chiefs. They want to take me to Chiefs. But while they were busy talking, there were 3 cars that stopped behind Iwat Nene's car. Those were Orlando Pirates. Oh, wow. During those days, Pirates, you don't mess with Pirates. Yeah. Mafia, you don't mess with them. And they parked behind Iwat, front and back and side. So they closed him there. And I'm sitting outside. I'm a kid, you know. I don't know what's happening in the house. And they came in, and I had a lot of squabble in the house. Big squabble. And I saw Iwat Nene coming out. And they were saying, go. And they called me in. I said, no, we want you to sign for Pirates. That's the day I signed.
So the 2 cars were outside, and then you had no choice but to sign on this side.
I had to sign for Pirates because it was Orlando Pirates and it was my father's team. That's when I signed, and they told me to start coming to training. That Russia said they will pay my school fees. They'll give me allowance money to go to school. And then a week later, I started training with the first team at Pefeni Station. I used to walk from Orlando to Pefeni every day just to go for training. I really enjoyed it. I mean, you walk from training from Orlando to Orlando West. I don't think there's any player who'd walk from here to the corner there now for training. They all want to lift transport. I'm not coming. If you don't give me a car, they won't even walk to the corner now. I walked from Orlando to Orlando West. It was a long walk. After training, sometimes I don't get a lift. I would jog back. I was happy to jog back home.
And what kept you going?
I fell in love with soccer. People greeting you, I really felt in love with soccer. And I said to myself, I want to emulate my father. Because my father passed away, he was very young. I want to take over from where he left and see where I will end.
And I know that in 1973, you were about 18 years old. You ended up winning Sportsman of the Year that year.
Yeah. I think I was, to be honest, I was the fittest player, soccer player in South Africa. Because what I used to do, in the morning before I go to school, I used to, 5 o'clock, I'm up, I'm jogging all the way. Guess where? Town.
Wow.
And back. And then I wash in the tap, no showers, I wash in the tap, and then I go to school. Sometimes the water is cold. Yesterday it was cold. I always to wash and go. But sometimes you rob a little bit because it's too cold. You don't wash the whole body. And then you go to school. When it's warmer, then you wash in the afternoon. But that's what I used to train. I was so dedicated, disciplined, and I told myself, I said, look, if I can't finish school, I have to do something better with my life. And my life, I chose soccer. And that's what I wanted to do.
1979, very significant day in your life. I understand that you were playing and you had a wedding planned on the same day. And when you were needed, you left Mrs. Sono at the altar.
Not really. What happened, I was now playing overseas. And you know how, when you Soweto, the shepherd, the oops baby, so ke lo kena sekolo o pregnant ke jive jwa no re tshaba o bua ko ntlong re a shie a manza shilela. So I decided, and what was worse was that every year when I went overseas, I would leave my grandparents with somebody I don't know. So I said to her, look, you're pregnant. We have to, before they know, because I had a chance. At our age, we were very young. I was 21, she was 19, So, the date here or no, but my career was going up. The date for our marriage was set. I wasn't aware that politically a deal was being made in South Africa between the black government, there was no government by then, I would say the ANC politicians, and the white South African government, that because South Africa was banned throughout the whole world, to show the people that black and white can play together. So they said, okay, Pirates being the number 1 team in the country will play against the number 1 team, Highlands Park. It was negotiated. They wanted to see what will happen in the country if the 2 teams are playing together, whether Loluana or what, or but what Alwana. It was set. So when I landed here, my marriage date was set. It was Saturday and Sunday. So I can land Tuesday. Everything was organized through my aunties and my grandparents. Everything was done. Airport, I was met by politicians. They called me into a special room, and they asked me, no, you can't. Please, this game, which was organized quickly, you have to play. According to the African culture, you know, I can't change the wedding. No. I can't change it. If the date, I said the date's set, I can't change it. People like Desmond Tutu spoke to me, Semram Sami, I can't change it. I have to go and get married. And I love Paris. So, well, they played Saturday. Well, I got married on the same Saturday. 3:30, everything was done. So 3:30, I went to sit in my car because the wedding now is tomorrow at my home. So but you could sense already there was sadness in the township because there was not a single soul in the street. In the radio, Obama match. Yeah, no, it was surprising. So I tulela here following. And then come 25 to 4, there was a knock on my window. Because we prepared the whole night and I traveled, from England. The father-in-law also had a doctor at the door. Do you want to go and play? Hey, Dad, what a question. I'm a footballer. Anybody who says to me, you want to go and play, I'll say yes. The answer is obvious. But my father-in-law was Kaiser Chiefs. I was surprised that he wanted me to go. And I said to him, no, you can have a meeting and speak. Got 22. The wedding was finished. You can go. Yo. Nkamumponi kikena uvelente. Neketa makabo 160 flying to the stadium. Funny enough, Marek, we lady Cox go put 2 for in case. And in case it is hard. Hagifita go highway, a couple traffic cops say 2, Titamagadi 2. Hadibona Kuloyak, I getting escort. Grand Stadium. That was the greatest day in my football career, actually, is 2 of them. Kisaki from Grand Stadium, Maponisa Anta Lisa Di Bell. You know, this side, Cochrane stand, people can see, you should have seen, they all turned. They gave me a standing ovation, it's so fit. Markizak got out, jump out of the car. I don't know what happened. How do you feel? It was 2 minutes to half time. When I ran, Kilonka Jessico benching, the whole stadium stood up. I couldn't believe it. Till today, I still have goosebumps even now. And the game stopped. They all stopped. The players there, Highlands Park and Cosmos, they all stopped. Bashaban, Kikense suit. Referee blower whistle for end of the game. For half time. Na kenkaje sikibale ai ke dressing room. Bantola ke ntse ko warm up dressing room. Ha ke khutla ba khutletse bona. Game ya qala because I was still warming up. Ha ke khutla ne ke jila holo, to be honest. Ne ke jila holo. Nana never give up. Ha ke khutlela. The game stopped again. The whole stadium, 30 to 40,000, they stood up. They gave me a standing ovation. And I took the field. I scored 2 goals and I created 2 goals.
I also know that you went overseas.
I was playing overseas
for about 6 years, was it?
8 years. Because I first went to Portugal. Portugal was a bit difficult, very, very difficult, because they didn't speak English at the time. I was very young, I was 17, I came to Portugal. They didn't speak English, and most of the time I was alone there. I only stayed, I think, half a season, and I decided to come back home because I could do nothing, no hello, dumelang, nix. So you become homesick quickly. So I came back home, and from there I was spotted, and I went to America. 7 years in America, 1 year in Portugal.
And how did that grow and shape you? I mean, a different climate completely.
Yes, I learned a lot. And it was an eye-opener. It's important to learn about other cultures. Courses, smaller courses, it's about 6 months, bank management, about 1 year, bank teller, and I said, no, because you never know, this football, somebody might break my leg, and that's it, finish. So I took all those courses, smaller courses, study business management, because we used to train in the morning. And the whole day we're free, you don't know what to do. Thanks God, no the more later more, where players spend nearly their entire time going to. So I used to go to school. Classes and learn about the other cultures. And I think it helped me a lot, you know, to understand that there's life after football. There is life after football. And you are responsible to make it possible that that life, you succeed in it.
You say there's life after football. Your life, there is no life after football. You're still in football. Owning your club, forming your club. What did that take from you?
It's life after football. It's business. I'm no longer kicking. Finish.
But football's in your blood.
Yes, yeah. That's why I say to you, it's business. I always make a joke with people. I say, if you cut me with a knife, you won't see blood. You'll see small soccer balls. And when I die, I've said it to my wife, they must bury me in a round coffin, soccer coffin. It's difficult to separate me from football. I have other businesses which I do. I have other businesses which have become so successful, others have failed dismally, but I don't put failure in front of me. Because if I put failure in front of me, I won't move. I don't put obstacles in front of me. I always make sure that I move the obstacles and I go ahead. You know, so you're 100% right. Soccer is my life. But at the same time, I need to have something which can help me to support the family, not to rely on soccer, because if for Pirates, Chiefs, Sundowns, it's a good business. For smaller England teams, it's not a good business. It's not a business to be in.
But at the core of this is nurturing talent, finding players from rural areas.
That's my business. I knew that I can't compete with Pirates, Chiefs, Sundowns because of the financial muscle. So I said, let me look what would be the best for me. So I said, no, the best for me, my club must be known for producing players and building them and making them better persons in future, and also selling them so that the club can survive. So that was our business plan.
What do you stand by? What is your life philosophy?
Work hard, work hard, work hard, and work hard. That's all. I don't have a big educational background, so I just have to work hard. Look at opportunities. I've been very fortunate in my life that, yes, some of them didn't work out, some worked out, but I look at myself, I was a striker. You can miss 2 and score 3. It's business as well. You can miss 2 of those businesses, but you make sure you score. So
and a lot
that's
of
my philosophy.
entrepreneurs in the Jomo will say that it's a lonely space. Entrepreneurship is a very lonely space. So from in, you need a lot of strength from within to see your vision through.
I have that. I could not be playing overseas at the age of 17. I have that. I could not be playing overseas when I was 21. And South Africa was under apartheid regime. I was going overseas at an early age. So I have the strength. And as I said to you earlier, I'm not scared to fail. Not at all. If a blind man can run a shop, why can't I run a business? My grandfather ran a shop, a small shop. I remember the shop at the corner. Why can't I run a business? Try, you fail, it's okay, try again. I was a striker. I missed a lot of chances. I missed penalties. But where did I end up? I scored over 1,000 goals. I missed maybe 200, but I never stopped to say, no, I missed a goal. I was again boxing. No, I went and I kept scoring goals. So the only thing that can stop me is death.
I know you're a family man. Family is very big to you.
The most important thing here in a relationship like marriage, as long as your wife understands what you do. If you got married to her, she didn't understand what you were doing, you might have a problem in the middle. You know, she needs to become what I am. Then you can last 40 years like I have. She needs to become what I am. I need to become what she is. we understand each other. There's nothing that beats that. She knows when I walk out here, I'm going to work. She doesn't pull me by the jacket, we are guy. Because some women do, we are guy. Yeah, we are guy. Why we are guy? We don't have this here. So she understood from the first day she got married to me, that I love people.
And being a grandfather?
Yeah, that's the biggest part. I fight with them every day. I tell them that they call me Grumpy. That's my name, Grumpy. Just all of them. Because because ke a tseba gore batho ntšhentšhisa di-TV tshwanetse ke dlale bo Popeye. No. So be ke kwatisa ba ba is in a bad mood. Ante ke maaka ga ba tsamaya fela ke happy ke a tsheya. So and they keep me going, So some of them, I used to joke with them. They would say, if you don't know my name, don't call me Tatemula. Tatemula Tatemula wa monna wa naka. I sing Naki Braje. So they call me Braje.
I have to ask you, if I didn't, my colleagues in the sports room would be very upset with me. The greatest player of all time, who is he for you?
South Africa or worldwide?
Either way.
Worldwide.
Yes.
Pelé. Pelé was the greatest I've ever seen.
And what made him so great? In your eyes, for you to single him out and highlight him as the greatest?
He was a complete footballer. It's difficult to describe him. And you can see what he's won. Even in the World Cup, at the age of 17, he won the World Cup, was the youngest. Yes, we're not taking anything away from Ronaldo, Messi, Maradona. They never won the World Cup. That guy won the World Cup twice. The guy was unbelievable. And what is worse about him, very, very humble. Very humble human being. I said to you, 2 great moments in football. The second one was when I replaced him at New York. And I thought the fans, because they saw me play the week before, and then the following weekend, they removed him, and I took his place. I got a standing ovation. 77,000 people, a boy from Africa, replacing Pelé, and still get an ovation, and still scored. For me, it was a highlight of my life. And we became good friends. We're still friends even now. Even though there's an age difference, but we're still friends. The greatest player, Pelé. Tell them that at work, Pelé.
I will tell them. There's one thing you forgot to mention. That you watch channel 405.
And which is true, It's become my favorite channel now. I'm serious.
I'm glad.
Afro News. You can ask them in the house. The music in the show.
I'll be talking to your grandchildren just now. They'll tell me.
Oh my God.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you for
much.
your time. Thank you for allowing us into your home.
Anytime.
It really has been wonderful.
No, thank you. Thank you.